The fourth season of The Witcher is coming to Netflix just shy of Halloween. The trailer is now out, and it's getting clowned on universally by fans of the show who preferred Henry Cavill in the role. And I just want to show a couple stills. First one was posted by Nerdrotic of the cast. It literally looks like you could have copy and pasted this from the bandits in Snow White. Yeah. Just comically diverse.
Well, he says it's very Netflix.
Yeah, it's Netflix doing what they do best. And here is another post comparing the characters as they were depicted in the game and what Netflix did with all of them. Mostly race swapped. And at the very least, cast someone extremely unsightly. I'm seeing most of these actors are in this still that Nerdrotic posted.
Yes.
And the trailer is getting ratioed by a bunch of fans of Henry Cavill and of the first 3 seasons. A lot of people saying that they're boycotting now and they're giving up on it.
I mean, that was always going to happen.
Pack it up.
Nobody was going to stick with it once Henry Cavill left.
There's this part in the trailer where Liam Hemsworth, he says, like, let's effing move! And he's, like, not even doing the accent. Yeah. It's, like, not fitting for the genre, for the character, for anything. The costumes all look incredibly Spirit Halloween.
Okay, so the thing with that is, and I'll say it about the Harry Potter stuff too, you can't judge what something's going to look like before they do the color grading, before they do the lighting. They were saying the same thing about the early Witcher stuff. They're like, the costumes look too clean. That was what was true of Rings of Power. Everything in the Rings of Power, even in the finished product, looked like somebody said action, and like one of the actors like pulled a tag off of it.
Yeah, but then, you look at the clips of the costumes in the trailer, and they still look brand new out of a Spirit Halloween package.
Yeah,
so.
and look, there's it has been.
He looks like a Zara model. He also kind of looks like one of the evil vampires in Twilight.
Yeah.
Like, not to say Liam Hemsworth isn't handsome, but it's just like, you're not the same type as Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Henry Cavill necessarily the same type of handsome. Henry Cavill is has a more weathered look about him. Mm-hmm. He's actually from a time. Maybe that's why they talk about him as like a more classically Hollywood handsome person.
And this version, Liam Hemsworth just looks very clean. He looks very recently bathed. The wig is also giving Daenerys Targaryen from the late seasons of Game of Thrones. The wig is off. Yeah. But yeah, that one part where he goes let's effing move. Completely an American accent was really jarring. But now, on another note, Netflix is getting exposed, or rather they're exposing themselves. They showed their hand in a recent interview with Liam Hemsworth about the new season on their own editorial arm, Tudum. They put this excerpt in there that is now deleted, basically admitting that they had plans to replace Henry Cavill early on, just after season 1.
Yeah, they're like, this guy's causing too much trouble. Right.
And Henry Cavill didn't even know that they were planning to replace him that early.
They were already calling Liam Hemsworth.
This was this segment of that interview, which is now nowhere to be found, and there's no editor's note clarifying that they removed this part of the interview. But this is what it said. Hemsworth's journey began with a phone call in 2020 while he was home in Australia. My agent called me and said they were interested in me stepping into the world of Geralt and continuing on with this series. At first, he wasn't sure if he wanted to take on the role, but an early conversation with Lauren Hisrich helped ease his doubts. I felt like I was going to have the support and the confidence that I needed to really pull it off. So that confirms, basically, that they were planning to replace Henry Cavill well before the public knew previously. Directly after season 1, not even prior to the second season.
And then you started getting the articles and the releases later on that were basically hit pieces against Henry Cavill, calling him misogynistic on the set of the show.
Well, this detail seems to go against the initial, mostly anonymous reports about why Henry Cavill was let go.
Yeah.
And I did find that, which originally came from Dumois, the tabloid gossip.
It was eventually covered again by like Bounding
outlet.
Into Comics, covered it again after that. To
It's just it's a blind item. You might as well consider it fan fiction. But initially that said, I recently got a message and somebody was like, do you want to know what really went down? And I was like, sure. It says, at the beginning of the show, Henry was good to work with, a lot of unusual demands that made people feel like he wasn't really a team player, but that's not unusual for a big star, though in TV it truly usually doesn't happen until the second season. But in season 2 and 3, something shifted, and he became really impossible for women to work with, which is always a big problem. But even worse here, because the showrunner, Lauren Hisrich, is a woman. He would try to overrule her and tried to get changes made last minute across the board without her knowledge, which, if you know anything about showrunning, is completely effed. The showrunner has to sign off on every minuscule detail down to the buttons on a costume. Female writers and directors were suddenly completely ignored on set, unable to do their jobs. Every department head was complaining. He started making comments. It wasn't a sexual thing. He wasn't grabbing anyone or being lewd, but it was disrespectful and toxic all the same. He's deeply addicted to video games. They made
it about video games.
He was deeply addicted to video games to the point where it was like working with any other addict. He was distracted, he was late, he was obsessive, and a lot of people think that the misogyny came from the gamer world. Video game bro language is not how you talk to coworkers, and he wouldn't stop. Someone on the show compared it to watching him get brainwashed by QAnon. Like, his whole personality shifted. Eventually, his disrespect escalated. He would rewrite scenes without even alerting the other actors in the scenes until it was time to shoot. He decided he didn't want any romantic scenes at all, no kissing, no shirtless scenes, etc. He wanted complete control of storylines, but really had no idea of the limitations of TV structure, budget, etc. He formed a weird alliance with one writer who was also a gamer, who eventually got fired after multiple HR complaints were made. And after that writer left, Henry did anything he could to hold up production and cause problems. Eventually, brass at Netflix was tired of him costing them money and delays in HR investigations, and the showrunner was asked to construct a potential exit for him. Netflix reached out to him personally, and he was given one final warning, violated that warning after with an email he sent to the entire writing staff, and that was it. So this anonymous blind item completely contradicts what we just learned from Netflix itself. They're saying Netflix decided to plan out a replacement after season 3, not after season 1.
Which is, of course, not true.
Liam Hemsworth just blew the lid on that being entirely untrue, which means, are we to trust anything else that was revealed in the blind item? No.
What is his agent doing? Or what are the agents at Netflix doing?
Thank you, guys.
Like, you think they'd be like, whatever you do not mention the date in which we reached out to you. Like, that is a secret.
Yeah.
We need to keep it a secret.
Right. So are we to believe any of the other shit in this blind item, that Henry Cavill is a QAnon misogynist gamer?
It was so comical and over the top that nobody... Like, here's the thing. Being deft is your best weapon in something like this. Don't make it out to be like suddenly he was like drinking a bunch of Mountain Dew game fuel and Monster and then suddenly started doing all of this. It makes it makes him sound like a comic book villain. If you wanted anybody to actually believe your garbage, you should have made it a lot less believable.
And they were also calling into question Henry Cavill's bona fides as a true fan of the source material, because it is true, in interviews, he did admit that he wasn't familiar with the books until he had initial conversations with the showrunner. He had only played the games, and he thought that the books were based on the games. So he did end up reading the books for the first time in like 2017, 2018, around the time that they approached him at first for the role. And I wouldn't be like able to, quibble about how accurate his depiction of the character is. A lot of people said that that he tried to dumb down the character by eliminating his lines and grunting instead.
I saw that, yeah.
And then other actors, one of them was Joey Batey. I'm not sure how to say his name. He said that he had to like change his own lines to do the necessary exposition that Henry Cavill eliminated from his own script.
The line removal thing reminds me of, it's funny because it involves Hemsworth as well. I think it was which Hemsworth? It must have been Chris Hemsworth who did Men in Black International, where like the movie was so bad that they hired their own writers. Like the actors hired their own writers. Like on set, they were like rewriting their own scripts.
And they're allowed to do that?
I don't think, like, it depends on how much of a crapshoot the whole production is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was Chris Hemsworth.
I mean, all of that notwithstanding, because I'm far from an expert on the source material here, I do think that the depictions of Henry Cavill as some sort of like incel 4chan gaming obsessed weirdo are made up out of thin air.
I mean, when did he stop being like a 4chan gaming obsessed weirdo to go hit like bicep curls to make sure that he stayed in shape?
Yeah, and aside from that, I do agree that Beau DeMaio had like ulterior motives for implying that the team of scriptwriters were making a mockery of the source material because he was already fired by Marvel at that point.
Because of what was going on with X-Men 97?
Yeah. He said in an interview in 2022 that when he was writing episodes for The Witcher, some of the writers were actively disliked the books and games, actively mocking the source material, which is a recipe for disaster and bad morale.
But everybody knows that, I know that this isn't Marvel. Marvel is notorious for telling writers, don't read the comics.
Yeah.
They tell them not to do it. They don't want you to be familiar with it because they want to do their own adaptations because they have a whole bunch of hubris.
Well, then the Witcher showrunner Lauren Hisrich had to respond to Beau DeMaio's comments and clear the air. She said, "I never mocked the books. The books are my entire livelihood. The writers' rooms are sacred and safe and more than anything supportive spaces. Don't believe everything you read." And she said that she still has great respect for Beau DeMaio despite his comments and that she loved the episodes that he wrote. But they spent, what is it, $221 million on this new season of The Witcher. That is a huge show of faith that people are going to return to watch the show with Liam Hemsworth.
It's Netflix.
As the protagonist.
Doesn't even matter.
Is it just like they do this? This is just their thing at Netflix. They spend insane amounts of money on all of their content.
We just saw that. I don't know if you guys saw this, guys. The budget for season 5 of Stranger Things, reduced to an episode count of 8, is $400 to $480 million, sitting at roughly $50 to $60 million an episode. To be fair, each episode over an hour long, between 60 and 90
It's literally
minutes.
A movie.
Yes, every one.
A shitty movie.
Yes.
But a movie.
I think it's going to all be used to de-age Millie Bobby Brown, who's just aging faster than everybody else.
And that's double the amount that they were spending per episode on just the prior season.
Yeah, and I don't know how they make their money. I mean, like,
this is their big finish.
Netflix has a huge market cap. They're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They're worth hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't know where all the money goes. I've never known where all the money goes, but it doesn't matter because Hollywood is notorious for its funny bookkeeping anyways. A lot of times those things are done like they'll balloon budgets just so that they can report it as a loss. So that they don't have to pay the extra on box office returns, and they can write it off on their taxes. It's like the husband who lets his wife run the coffee shop that loses $10,000 a month, so they can write it off on their taxes every year.
Right. That's a beautiful analogy.
Stranger Things is the liberal coffee shop in
Stranger Things is the Etsy candle business.
Yes, it is. At the local craft market.
Yeah.
That the husband pays for so that he can write it off on his taxes.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.